The Cavite Mutiny of 1872 was an uprising of Filipino military personnel of Fort San Felipe, the Spanish arsenal in Cavite, Philippine Islands on January 20, 1872. Around 200 locally recruited colonial troops and laborers rose up in the belief that it would elevate to a national uprising. The mutiny was unsuccessful, and government soldiers executed many of the participants and began to crack down on a burgeoning Philippines national movement. Many scholars believed that the Cavite Mutiny of 1872 was the beginning of Filipino nationalism that would eventually lead to the Philippine Revolution of 1896. The reports of Vidal and Izquierdo both implicated that the rebellion was an attempt to overthrow the Spanish government. In particular, Izquierdo reports that the Filipino clergy is behind the mutiny to rally secularization. Both has no originally reported that this plan was caused by the abolition of the privileges of the workers of Cavite Arsenal, which include the non-payment of taxes, of tributes, and the exemption from forced labor. But the two added several causes like the overthrowing of circular throne through the Spanish Revolution, the unrestrained press disseminating unclean propagandas, the books with liberal, republican, and democratic ideals, and the support and conspiracy of native priests to replace the Spanish friars. For these reasons, the Gomborza in February 17, 1872 were executed. On February 15, 1872, the Spanish colonial authorities sentenced three martyrs' fathers, Jose Burgos, Mariano Gomez, and Jacinto Zamora, to death by garrote at Bagong Bayan, Philippines, on charge with treason and sedition and subversion. 2 days after their verdict, they were executed. The charges against Fathers Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora was their alleged complicity in the uprising of workers at the Cavite Naval Yard. It was believed by Governor Rafael Izquierdo that the Filipinos will create its own government, and allegedly, the three priests were nominated as the leader of the planned government in order to break free of the Spanish government. The death of Gomborza awakened strong spirits of anger and resentment among the Filipinos. They grilled Spanish authorities and demanded reforms due to prejudicial governance of the Spanish authorities. The martyrdom of the three priests ironically assisted in the creation of the propagandas movement with aim to seek reforms and inform the Spanish people on the abuses of its colonial authorities in the Philippine Islands. Besides from Gomborza execution, on January 28, 1872, the military court sentenced 41 mutineers to death. However, on the next day, Governor Rafael Izquierdo pardoned 28 mutineers and the rest were confirmed to sentence. On February 6, 1872, 11 mutineers were sentenced to death, but Governor Izquierdo commuted their death sentence to life imprisonment. Together with execution of garrote to the three martyrs was Enrique Paraiso, Maximo Inocencio, and Crisanto de los Reyes were imprisoned to 10 years imprisonment. Furthermore, there were people being sentenced by the military court of Spain to exile them to the Marianas, or also known now as Guam. They were Father Pedro Dandan, Father Mariano Sevilla, Toribio H. del Pilar, brother of Marcelo H. del Pilar, Agustin Mendoza, Jose Guevara, Miguel Lasa, Justo Guazon, Father Anicito Desiderio, Father Vicente del Rosario, Joaquin Pardo de Tavera, Antonio Maria Regidor, Jose Basa A. Enriquez, Mauricio de Leon, Pedro Carrillo, Gervasia Sanchez, Jose Maria Basa, Pio Basa, Balveno Mauricio, Maximo Paterno, father of Pedro Paterno, and Valentin Tosca.